Hello, Firefighter Plumber. I'm going to show you guys our Scott SCBA breathing apparatus. We keep these on every engine, truck, medic, and our wildland apparatus. This particular model is a Scott X3 Pro. These are new packs to us here at Los Alamos Fire Department. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what the parts are and kind of a general operation of the pack. So first, the main part of the pack. This is the back frame, the backpack. You can think of this like a backpack. It goes over your shoulders. You wear this on your back. This is solid thermoplastic. It has all of our NFPA standards that govern the use of this pack. It's NFPA's 1981 and 1982, 2018 edition. This is current latest technology for SCBA packs here. So we have our back frame. This is called the back frame. You can see from the opposite side. We have a cylinder that will go on there. I'll show you that in a minute. We have a strap that tightens our cylinder down. This is cylinder strap. And then we have our shoulder straps. All of these are tightened by pulling down on this strap, and we'll demonstrate that in further videos. We have waist strap that's similar to a seat belt that goes across your waist. And then on one side of that, we have a cup that holds our regulator. This is our regulator. This is the part that actually hooks into the mask and delivers the air from our cylinder into our mask. If you notice here on this regulator, there's some lights up here. This is called a HUD, or heads-up display, and it will flash using various light schematics to tell you how much air is left in that cylinder. Top, this is called a purge valve or a demand valve. We can open that to get a free flow of air, and we can also use this to help us when we're returning our pack to service, to bleed off the air in the system. So here you hear your vibra alert going off, which is an end of service light indicator. Goes off when you have low air. That's that vibrating sound. Here you notice your lights. These are your heads-up display. You have 2 greens for full. The battery light is actually next to it to the right here. 2 greens mean it's full. 1 green means it's 75%. A flashing amber light means that you're at 50%. And a flashing red light means that you are at less than 30%. Here we have an integrated air saver device. So when we need to take our air off or take our regulator off our mask, we need to pull this all the way back. It'll click. You'll hear a secondary click, and that means it's going to keep air from just bleeding out of this. And then with your purge valve, you can hear the air escape. You guys hear that air escape? If I want air on demand, I can turn that valve and get air on demand. Otherwise, it's every breath I take in, I'm going to get a breath of air. Attached to the regulator, we have our low pressure hose. This low pressure hose line runs all the way up through this shoulder strap and down to our pressure reducer. This is a double redundant pressure reducer, meaning there's 2 springs in here. If one fails, there's a backup system contained in this pressure reducer block. On this pressure reducer block is our quick disconnect for our cylinder, also known as our Denver pins. These are the way that we are able to change the cylinder out on these packs quickly and easily. So when we put this pack on, that's going to be a separate demonstration, and we'll show you the different parts there of how to actually operate this regulator when it's on your mask. Moving along to the other side of the pack, we have another shoulder harness, and we have what's called our remote air pressure gauge. And within this is our controls for our integrated pass device. So here you'll notice there's a gauge, and on our cylinder there's a gauge. Those are going to need to be within 100 psi of each other to keep this pack in service. So when you turn your pack on, this remote pressure gauge is the gauge that you're going to be looking at to help give you an indication of how much air you have left. Moving down, same tightening principle with this strap here. Moving down, we have this pouch on the side. This is EBSS, which is Emergency Buddy Breathing System. So if you open this, there's a long hose that comes out, and this is used in case a firefighter runs out of air and we need to supply them some of our air off of our pack. And we'll go through multiple drills where you'll get to practice that and understand all about that. Just to kind of show you the parts, there's a male and female end to this system. And we'll, like I said before, we'll go through all the various ways to operate this system as we move through the academy. So this, whenever you're putting it away, make sure it gets coiled back up and the buttons are done back up on this system here. One last point I want to show here is this is an integrated drag rescue device similar to what's on your bunker gear. This is rated for 1,000 pounds. It's used to essentially drag somebody out of an area. If we have a downed firefighter, we can grab onto that, use that as part of our method to get them out of the environment where they need to get out of. So that's the basic harness. You'll hear it called the harness or backpack. Moving on to the cylinder itself. This is a cylinder. It's 5,500 PSI when it's full. You have at the base, you have a bumper plate. You have the connection, the inlet that actually connects to the back frame here. And then you have your control valve. This is how you turn your cylinder on and off. Off here on the side, the other side, you're going to have this small, basically it's a screw valve for filling this cylinder. This is how we fill our cylinders up off of our compressor, and you guys will get plenty of information as far as that goes as well. We try and keep these dust caps on them, just protect those threads, keep this thing in service longer. You'll notice there's some different stickers on these cylinders. It's going to give you some information. We have a department tag here, and typically what you'll find is a hydrostatic test date. After these cylinders have been around for a little while, they need to be tested to ensure that we're still capable to use this cylinder, that it can withstand the high pressures that are placed upon this cylinder. So we send them off to a third party to be hydrostatically tested, and they will place a sticker somewhere on this cylinder, and it needs to be within 5 years. A couple other things about the cylinder we have here. You'll notice on the side here, we mentioned a bunch of different stickers and things to pay attention to. You see where I'm pointing here, there's 0221, that's a manufacture date. That's important for when we're doing inspections. These cylinders have a maximum service life of 15 years. Also, just to talk about the construction of these cylinders, you'll notice that it's all fibers. That's carbon fiber. This is carbon wrapped over steel. And the vast majority of the strength of this cylinder is in that carbon wrapping. So if you notice that there's a big gouge or a big cut or tear or chip in this, that needs to be, that cylinder needs to be taken out of service and retested prior to using it again. So if you notice damage to this cylinder from use, after use, you need to pay attention to that and make sure that we're doing a good once over after we use these things. The last part of this ensemble here is going to be your mask. This is a personal mask. Everyone's going to get issued their own mask, and we'll show you exactly how this clicks in to your air supply and how to don this mask or put it on. You can see that there's a harness that kind of sits off the back, and this is able to be adjusted to your head geometry. And then there's a nose cup on the interior that helps prevent fogging. Also on the inside, the lens of this mask is coated with an anti-fog coating to help keep us from fogging up. As you can all appreciate, going from a cooler environment to a superheated environment, you have a tendency to have fog form on these masks. So the nose cup as well as that anti-fog kind of helps with some of that stuff. Here on the side, you'll notice there's, it looks like a little checkerboard. That's actually voice emitter, so we can kind of, it helps us with our communication. It's very difficult to hear when people are breathing on air, so that by design is to help us be able to communicate with each other a little easier. And then at the bottom, there's a section for a battery. And that battery can connect to Bluetooth, and we'll describe and discuss that with you later. So that's our basic SCBA that we use here at Los Alamos Fire Department. Save your questions for Monday.